Well, welcome everybody. Another fantastic episode of Playing with Perspective, the Suspended Animation Podcast. And I've got a lovely guest today for our Friday show. Irena Geller is in the house. How are you, Irena?
I'm well. How are you?
Very well. Now, for everybody out there, who is Irena? Irena is well-known as a health and weight loss expert in the industry. After 25 years battling her own demons with unhealthy eating, Irena finally made peace with food following a massive mind transformation. By shedding her mental weight, she also lost an incredible 50 kilograms over 2 years. Her expertise today is shaped by her personal journey, paired with qualifications in biomedical science, nutrition, positive psychology, health and wellness coaching, as well as personal training. Irena specializes in helping smart, capable women with literally too much on their plate, dissolve their struggle with emotional eating. The message Irena now shares with passion, zest, and empathy for people across Australia through her keynote speech, "Put down your fork and pick up your life," is the key to sustainable change is through the mind. I love that phrase, Irena.
I know you do. It's a good one, isn't it?
Fantastic. Now,
I've actually registered it. I've actually registered it as a trademark.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent.
I know.
Now, for everybody out there today, we're going to be talking about, obviously, emotional eating, how to put down your fork and pick up your life. Now, obviously, this is a topic that is pertinent to everybody. Everybody can get something out of this. And emotional eating it's nothing new. I suppose it's been around for a while. But before we get into that, maybe, Irena, give us a little bit of a rundown into your journey and, what brought you to where you are today.
Sure. So my journey started at the age of 11 when we came to Australia from Ukraine. And I suffered from anxiety. I didn't know at the time that's what it was. But my go-to strategy was to eat emotionally. And that continued for many years. Then it resulted in several eating disorders and really dysfunctional lifestyle. And it wasn't until I lost my business, my fashion business, and I had some time to think. When I had adrenal fatigue, I realized that, to create sustainable change, it has to start with the mind. Yep. It starts with the mind, and the weight loss is a byproduct of changing your mindset and dealing with limiting beliefs and things like that.
I suppose everything starts in the mind when you think about it, isn't it?
It does, but most people start the other way around. They think that when they lose weight, the mind will take care of itself and everything will be better, but it's actually the other way around.
Yeah, it's actually so true. Everybody thinks, when I just lose 10, 20 kilos, I'll be happy. I'll find my perfect partner. I'll be able to wear the clothing that I love. But
that's it. And my life will be great.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where it starts. Wow. And that's where it ends, I guess. Yeah.
Fantastic. And now, so tell us about how you came up with that phrase. Did that just come to you, or put down your fork and pick up your life?
Yeah, I'll tell you how I came up with that phrase. I mean, I find that a lot of women who come to me, they are sitting on the sidelines and they're not participating in life. So what's holding them back is their self-doubt, their limiting beliefs, and also their go-to strategy or their therapist is food. Yeah. And so in putting down their fork, they can pick up their life and stop sitting on the sidelines and create a life that they're actually craving for. Pardon the pun.
Yep. I love it. There'll be lots of puns in this, I'm sure.
There will be, without a doubt. Yes.
So, Irena, look, emotional eating. I mean, it's nothing new. We're all driven by emotion.
Yeah.
Is it something that is more prominent these days, or has it always been? I'd love to get your take on the history and how widespread is it and how aware are we of it?
Yeah. Okay, well, there's a couple of questions in there. Emotional eating has always been around. Most women, I find, or most people that come to me don't even realize that they're eating emotionally. Yep. So their go-to strategy is food. It's not alcohol. It's not, other vices, I guess. And I think these days, especially for women, the expectations have ramped up. Women are, they're working full time, or they have their own business, they're taking care of children, taking care of the house. And food is such an easy go-to strategy. That's why I call it go-to strategy, because you can just grab something and feel better. The thing is, the long-term effects, even the immediate effects, many people feel guilty. They berate themselves about it. Yep. It's not a good feeling for the 5 minutes or the 20 minutes that maybe it gives them pleasure for. It's the feelings afterwards are not good. And then you've got the weight gain. So not all emotional eaters are overweight. A lot of people think that if you're an emotional eater, you have to be overweight, but that's not the case.
No,
it's just using food as your go-to strategy, your therapist, when you feel certain emotions like stress or boredom, or it could be any emotion, even happiness.
Definitely, absolutely. It doesn't have to be negative; it can be positive as well.
Exactly.
It's a way to express things.
That's right. It's a way to deal with it, perhaps. It's usually a negative emotion. It's the emotion that they don't want to feel. And so they eat to dull that emotion, to dull the feelings. Yeah.
I mean, even me, sometimes, you get busy, you do everything, and you could say, look, just take 10, 20 minutes, make a proper lunch. But no, I just grab something quick. Doesn't have to be unhealthy, but it's just some quick carb fix or whatever. But that's actually not the right way to eat.
But see, that's where it's a little bit difficult, because if you're used to running things a certain way, it's challenging. And that's why it's so challenging to do it on your own, because often you're not even aware of your thinking. And that's the first, part of the equation, I guess, in making a change, becoming aware of your thoughts.
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes a lot of preparation, and that preparation spills into other parts of your life. It's not just about the eating. So it's really this is a holistic process.
It is, and it is a process, but it's different for everyone, because people have different challenges. But I find that a challenge most people have is being able to put down their work so they can pick up their life. That's, it's not just the fork. It's actually, it's putting down something so they can do something for themselves.
Otherwise, they could eat. Perfect. I do the same thing. I say, I'll just get this done. And then after this piece of work, I'll have more time and I'll be able to start eating properly.
Or you'll be able to exercise, or it's different things. But it is very challenging when you've got deadlines, to stop. But the interesting thing that I have realized in probably the last couple of years is a lot of those deadlines are actually set by you. They're not necessarily, when you work for yourself, you're driving yourself. No one else is driving you. But it's still very difficult. I find it difficult at times as well.
Do you find that certain demographics or certain profiles of people are more prone to emotional eating than others, or is it really just across the board random?
I do. There is very interesting model by a lady called Gretchen Rubin, and she talks about people's tendencies. And there's 4 tendencies. Obliger. I knew I'd probably forget this.
No, that's fine.
Anyway, most emotional eaters are obligers.
Right.
They meet other people's expectations, but they have difficulty meeting their own expectations. And when I say other people's, they meet, other people's, like say if you're preparing something for work for someone else.
That's a perfect example, a deadline. Perfect. You're meeting a deadline.
Right. So you're meeting someone else's expectation, but you're unfortunately not meeting your own. And when that continues over time, you end up becoming quite resentful. You're not a happy person. So even weight aside, it is very fascinating.
It's fascinating.
The mind is fascinating. The
I fall into that trap as well. See, so it's really, again, it's more about taking control of your life.
It is.
It's not just your eating; it's everything.
It's taking control of your eating, your weight, and your life. That's another one of my, I guess, taglines.
Wow.
But taking control of your life. And it's bloody challenging because the expectations these days are high. You know, everyone's running around, they're clamoring, they're,
Yeah.
you know, like so much to do. Everyone you speak to is really busy, and
yeah, it's the information age. We've got messages and
that's right.
and
Yeah.
and Skype and Zoom and things are happening at rocket speed, 10 things at a time, and we hardly have time to do anything, let alone
exactly
plan our
it's
eating
the
habits.
overwhelm. It's the overwhelm and the overeating. I guess that kind of goes with it too.
Yeah, wow, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so when you go about helping people manage and overcome this, give us a little big picture overview and how you work with people to get them to find a better way.
Yeah. Well, I actually run a program called Downsize Me. I do it under license.
Yep.
And what I love about that program is it's not a diet, because we all know, and, like research proves that diets don't work in the long term.
Yep.
And the reason they don't work is because they don't address the psychological reasons why people find it difficult to maintain the weight loss.
Yep.
We can all lose weight, right? But keeping it off is difficult. And unfortunately, the more times you've been on a diet, the harder it becomes to lose weight. And that's why there's actually proof that people get fatter as they diet more over time.
Wow.
And they become more disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So Downsize Me is not, even though it's called Downsize Me, but it's really about downsizing the bad habits and upsizing. Well, I'm not going to call it upsizing. I don't like that word. But creating new habits.
Yep.
But the Downsize Me protocol is about cleansing the liver.
Yes.
And about getting your hormones to work in your favor. So balancing your hormones.
Yep. Like
cortisol, ghrelin, leptin, all the hormones that drive, that drive fat gain. Yeah, that's right. Yep. And, it sounds complicated, but it actually isn't. It's evidence-based and it has 99% success. Great. And it's a coaching and nutrition program.
Great.
Right. So we address
how many facets. I mean, what do you address in the program? How many parts? You obviously do the physical exercise. You help them.
No, there's no physical. No, well, the thing is, exercise is something that they can do if they want to.
Okay.
Right. But it's what we do is we build a vision of how they want to feel like say maybe in 3 months or 6 months time, and that sets the foundation.
Okay.
Right. Then we look at their obstacles and we look at what's getting in the way. We look at limiting beliefs.
Yep.
Right. Using positive psychology and health and wellness coaching. And I ask them questions. So I don't tell them what to do. And that is the difference. Great. So they become the author of their own life.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard this great quote that if you're not the author of your life, someone else will write it for you and you won't like the ending.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great one?
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, it goes back to that thing about taking control of your life. So, the first step is really accepting yourself where you're at.
Yep.
And, having the confidence to make the change. Gotcha. So there's a lot of psychology involved.
Definitely. And so after you've gone through this process of helping them answer those questions and find out what they want, what do you do next?
Well, we look every week, we work on something different, right? So we work on, say, what is their tendency? We get them to do a quiz.
Yep.
Once they find out what their tendency is, they understand why they do the things that they do. When you understand why you do certain behavior, you have a really good opportunity to change it.
True.
We look at urges, cravings, we look at habits, we look at a lot of different things.
Yep.
And then we create a plan. And we also do body typing.
Right.
Which is a process, right? We address how they feel when they eat certain foods.
Right.
What their mood is like, what their energy is like. So it's a very detailed program.
Gotcha. And then you monitor that every week with them and you discuss what happened, why did you veer off here, why did you not, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I don't tend to ask why questions.
Okay.
I tend to ask questions that start with what, when, and how.
Yep.
And that is the basis of, health and wellness coaching. The thing is, Downsize Me has an online portal and there are so many resources. So for someone that really wants to dive in deep, right, it's all there, right? And we set goals every week, right? And then we review the goals and see what lessons did they learn, right? What went well? There's, like I said to you, there's a lot of positive psychology. So they start to believe in their ability. And when they gain small success from achieving these goals, their self-belief and confidence goes up. They feel that they could do the bigger stuff, right? And that's really what it's about.
But this is also a lifelong strategy and a lifelong discipline, because even though I know, oh, it's no good to eat that, or it's no good to eat that, and I know I shouldn't, I still go and do it.
But it's not about that. You see, we address the psychology and the psychological reasons why they're eating, why they're using food.
I see.
Okay.
I see. It goes deep.
We also, it goes much deeper. We look at their self-care, like what habits they're already successful with, what habits they would like to establish. A big part of it is about preparation and organization, how to get prepared, how to get organized.
Gotcha.
What foods work well for their energy and for their body. And they walk away at the end of the program with a blueprint for life, for their body type.
I was doing an event last night, actually, a photo event, and I met a lovely guy that was working in the function, and he was quite fit. And I went to him, I said, God, his name was Solomon. I said, Solomon, you look fit, man. You look great. And he said, well, look, your body is a temple and you have to look after it. And I said, wow, what insight, and I've heard
your body's also your friend.
That's right.
So a lot of people, when they first come to me, they want body confidence. But they're not friends with their body. They are fighting with their body. And so when they make friends, things really start to work differently.
I love that. You got to make friends with your body. I love that. Awesome. So have you got any examples or case studies? Obviously confidentially, of course.
Of course, I'm not going to. Sure, I'm not going to say any names, but generally people tend to, the biggest outcome they have is they're more confident, they have more energy, they believe in themselves, and they believe they've made a change already. And then I ask them things like, what else is possible in your life now that you've created this change, right? So like I said, self-confidence, weight loss is a byproduct, but people do lose weight. They drop their pounds of pain. That's what I call it, both physically and mentally, right? And they feel more energized. They are more consistent with their habits. And that's really important, because if you can be consistent with even a small habit, imagine over 12 months what result you will achieve. It can be anything. If you were writing a blog consistently every week, right? What would be, do you know what I'm saying? So it's about building small habits that they can manage and they're motivated to continue. And they can be consistent with. And a lot of them do build an exercise habit because it's something they want to do. And
I can imagine you've got a story of someone that was maybe looking for their ideal partner or looking for a promotion or something, and then they weren't.
I have many stories like that.
They weren't in line with their body, and then after they've come to you, all of a sudden, all these opportunities started coming, and they've changed their life.
It's because they we address their limiting beliefs. Like, for example, if someone believes that all good men are taken, what chance do they have of finding a partner?
That's right.
Or if someone says to themselves, well, what does it matter? What does my health matter anyway? I'm going to die. We're all going to die. Right? So, you get a lot of people, the problem is they're not even aware of what they're thinking. They have this dialogue going on in their head and there's no awareness there.
That's right.
So one of the things that we look at is self-awareness, like becoming aware of your thoughts. How are you speaking to yourself? Right? And how can you change that?
It's fascinating. Self-awareness has become such a topic these days, and it spills into every single facet of our life. And it, rightly so. Self-awareness is everything. But
it is.
We've only just started really becoming aware of awareness, or being aware of awareness.
And mindfulness.
It's
I
so
mean, sitting
common
down,
sense, so logical.
yeah. When you sit down and have your meal and you are mindful of what you eat, chances are you will eat a lot less than if you eat on the run.
Yep.
A lot of people don't even know what they've eaten. They can't even remember
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
because they're running around all day. They're fried and frazzled. That's what I call them,
Fried and
right?
frozen.
Fried and frazzled. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
And also eating well is an art form. Not a lot of people don't even know the difference between
Yeah.
carbohydrate, protein,
They
fat.
don't. Yeah.
They wouldn't
So
even
thank you for
know.
bringing that up, Darren, because that's the other thing that I
No.
actually help them to learn is understand, the macronutrients.
Yeah.
Micronutrients are vitamins. Macronutrients are the nutrients we can't live without, which is carbohydrate,
Yeah.
fat, and protein.
Yeah.
And a lot of women that come to me actually don't know what to eat or when to eat or how to get organized. So Downsize Me has got like shopping lists. It's got so many tools and so many things that they can use so they can get organized and feel in control all the time.
Great.
And that's really powerful because when someone feels in control, the sky's the limit, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, you got to be prepared and you got to organize yourself. And, if it means getting up a bit earlier and putting your lunchbox together and eating the right foods during the day and you feel better for it, do it.
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily have to take more time. In fact, it often saves time.
It does.
Because if you bulk prepare twice a week, you've got food for the whole week and you can eat what you had for dinner next day for lunch. So you actually save on food bills and you save on stress, having to stress about it.
And thank you for bringing that up. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I know when I'm not eating properly, I'm more anxious and more stressed and guilty about what I'm eating. Where if I'm in a nice regime, everything just runs smoothly because I have my regime set up. In a way, you sometimes can
You're not as stressed.
You're not as stressed. And sometimes you can get more creative and more liberated when you are slightly more restricted in that sense because you have a framework.
It's self-regulation. I call it self-regulation.
Exactly.
You see, it's not about willpower or discipline. It's about forming these habits and then running them. And yes, sometimes you might slip.
Sure.
No one's perfect.
Human,
but also it's about growing some self-compassion for yourself.
Definitely.
And not criticize yourself and call yourself names like a lot of people do. They really mean to themselves. They wouldn't say that to their best friend, but they call themselves names. You're stupid, you're hopeless, you're fat, you're a pig, you're some of the things that I hear are amazing. And you wouldn't say that to your best friend, would you? So why do you say it to yourself?
And that's
what I mean.
That will further compound negative self-belief, negative behavior.
Yeah.
It's a spiral that you don't want to go into.
Yeah. Well, I call it their inner critic. So what I help them do is I help them to liberate themselves from their inner critic.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how often or what length of program do you think is generally feasible for people, or is it very individual?
Well, look, the program comes in two different, there's a 4-week and an 8-week.
Okay.
Some people stay for longer. It just depends, right? Some people are faster learners. And the thing is, it's not actually about being a faster learner. It's about working the program, right? Being committed to it. And you've got to be ready. If you're not ready, it's much harder to make the change.
It's like people that smoke. Like sometimes people have tried to stop smoking 20 times, but they weren't mentally there. And then that next time they were there and they
got
stopped it for their life.
You hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, it's totally all there. Yeah.
And then do you find that sometimes people might do a 4-week or an 8-week program and might want to still come and see you every month, once a month, just to keep them on track?
Yeah. Everyone's different. Some people do the 4-week program, then they sign up for another 4 weeks.
Right.
And then some people continue, they do it once a month or they continue every week. It just depends on how many years they've had their unfavorable habits for and how much of a change they want to make, how much time they want to commit to it.
Wow. It's a topic that is as old as time.
I know.
There's a million variations and then you pick up every second Woman's Weekly magazine, or not that I read weekly, but all these magazines at the supermarket, everybody's got a new diet, a new
Of course.
fad, a new
Yeah.
something special, a new super food group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again and again and again and again.
It's a shame, you know, and that's one of the things that I'm actually really passionate about women having the, you know, like evidence-based and, you know, researched information that's based on research so they can make smart decisions rather than just going, you know, being a part of every fad diet. Because every diet that doesn't work because you didn't work is another disappointment.
That's right.
You know, it's another way to berate yourself, you know, to be your inner critic and say, oh, I'm destined to remain like this forever. Or
never going to lose the weight. It's nothing.
That's it. Nothing works. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's actually
very interesting
compounding
subject.
Negative behavior and negative.
That's it. The compound effect. Thank you. So the compound effect works both ways. It can work in your favor. It can also work against you. And that's exactly what you've just mentioned.
That's a good point. I like that. Wow.
Yeah.
So now I believe that you have some interesting seminars coming up. Do you want to tell us a bit about those?
Yes, I do. And it's really to do with what I've just mentioned. So I'm holding a seminar on the 29th of February, which is actually next Saturday at 12:30 p.m. I think you're going to post a link.
Yes,
to the seminar. And it's called 3 Things You Need to Know to Throw Away Your Diet Books.
Oh, good. I like that. Cool.
And it's an information session showing and telling women, you know, sharing with them about, you know, how their hormones work and just, you know, like telling them what works and what doesn't, how their hormones affect their mood, their weight loss. And really women will walk away feeling empowered. It's only half an hour. There's 10 minutes for questions, and it's a game changer.
Only half an hour.
I'm excited.
10 minutes for questions.
And 10 minutes for questions. Well, that's it. The thing is, it's short and sharp. I'll be showing them slides, and they'll actually be able to take something away. And I've just had someone join me, someone who's a diabetic who makes sugar-free chocolates.
Oh wow!
So that's another carrot to dangle, so to speak. Yeah.
I'm glad you said carrot, nothing else.
Yes, that's right.
Carrots are healthy.
Carrot to dangle. Yeah, exactly. It's healthy. That's right. I know. Yeah.
So, Irena, I suppose before we wrap up, I just wanted to give the audience and the viewers and the listeners maybe just a couple of little tidbits of insights or strategy that they can take and put into place right now. Is there anything that you want to?
Yeah, definitely. Well, one thing that's really important is to accept yourself where you're at. That's the beginning of every journey, right? So acceptance comes with self-compassion, right? Standing and observing yourself and accepting that that's where I am today, but it doesn't mean that that's where I'm going to be tomorrow, right? And then asking yourself if you're ready to do something about the change that you want to make, right?
Are you really ready? And how do
are you ready?
Know if they're really ready?
Well, because the thing that I ask them when I speak to them is I ask them how important is it for them to make a change between 1 and 10. 10 really important, 1 not important. If it's anything below 7, they're not. It's not that important. And then I ask them how ready they are to create that change now. And again, if it's anything below 7, they're not ready. Right? And really, if I can give like a good takeaway would be to slow down and take a couple of deep breaths during the day. Become aware of your surroundings so that you're not on autopilot all the time, because that's the problem. We're running on autopilot.
And this is, again, this is mindfulness and self-awareness and awareness.
Self-awareness. Become aware of your thoughts and do a thought download. Because when you download things on paper, and I suggest to write them because it's always more powerful, it's out of your head and it's less stressful. Right? So they're just really basic tips. I'm not going to say, eat this for lunch, do that. None of that matters right now. What matters is just slowing down, becoming more aware.
Getting in tune with your internal dialogue.
Yes.
That's what's driving everything you do.
Getting into your inner landscape, getting to know yourself. Because a lot of people don't even know who they are.
Wow.
If you don't know who you are, how can you decide who you want to be?
That's true. Yeah.
And how can you even begin to achieve that? So you may be surprised by my tips, and maybe the listeners are as well, because they're pretty basic.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you do them, they are so powerful.
Yeah. Because it's amazing what will come out of starting to build a base like that. After
That's
that, you'll
it.
start to be aware of so many other things and you'll change them naturally.
Yeah. Well, at least you will know what you want and what you don't want.
Definitely.
And if I may give another tip, learn to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't have to say yes to everything.
Yeah. Now that's a really good point. Sometimes,
right?
that's a really good and interesting point. Sometimes people invite you over for dinner or whatever, and they're making a certain amount of food, and you don't want to be, unhospitable, and you don't want to say, oh, I don't eat that. I don't eat that. I'm allergic to that. I don't like that.
So what do you do, Darren?
What do you do? I kind of just fiddle around and fudge my way around things and eat some things and leave other things.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wish I could say, look, I'm only eating these, I don't really like that, or that's not good for me. And, it's very difficult.
Well, may I suggest something?
Yeah, go for it.
You just simply say, thank you so much for preparing such an amazing meal. I'm so grateful.
Yep.
But I'm happy with what I've had. That's it.
Okay.
It's like when someone doesn't drink and people say to you, have a drink. The best thing to do is to have a glass with something or a cup. And when someone says to you, do you want a drink? Say, thanks so much. I've already got one.
Okay.
So you thank them. You acknowledge them and you thank them for the effort that they've taken to prepare this beautiful food.
Gotcha. So say there's...
But you make it clear that you've had enough.
And say,
thank you so much.
Six things on it's almost like a buffet style on the table. And they're saying, oh, would you like this? Would you like that? Would you like this? Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice, but I'll start with this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, thank you. No, just thank them. Say thank you so much for the time you've spent preparing this amazing food.
Yep.
But I've decided, so you start off by saying you've made a decision.
Yep.
I've decided that I'm going to have this. And this actually brings me on to another thing.
I love that.
If I can give another tip,
yeah.
People often find it hard to stop eating when they go out to places and when they dine at other people's places.
Yeah.
So the best thing that I find is useful is if you go into a restaurant, look at the menu ahead and decide what you're going to have. You don't have to, so you can make intentional decisions rather than having to make them on the spot. Yeah. Bit harder to do when you're at someone's place, but you can still decide what kind of things you want to eat.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I never really thought of it that way. Thank you very much. It looks amazing. Well, I'm going to stay with this, and if I'm still hungry, then we'll go for it.
Yeah, that's it. You thank them. Yeah. And people usually can't say anything to that. Because remember, Darren, when you're saying no to someone, you're saying yes to you.
That's right. When you're saying yes to someone, you sometimes are saying no to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Something to chew on, huh? Pardon the pun.
There's another one.
Yeah, I know. I'm full of them.
I love it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
That's really interesting stuff, Irene. Is there anything else that you want to add before we start off?
I could talk about this for hours. I am going to add something. I want to say to everyone out there that your potential is unlimited, that everything is within your power. You just got to believe in yourself. So, not that easy, but yeah.
But it's a positive affirmation, and it's got to start somewhere.
You've got to start somewhere.
I think these are some fantastic insights and strategies for a Friday afternoon. Everybody get ready for the weekend and use a little bit of self-discipline. And remember, if you're going out to eat and everybody's trying to offer you everything, say thank you very much. It looks amazing. You've done a great job. But I've decided I'm going to start with this. And if I feel hungry, then I might have something else.
Yeah, that's
How simple is that? I love it.
Yeah, just be nice about it. Yeah.
So easy.
Exactly.
Very much, Irena.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that. It was really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
thanks, Darren.
We've just scratched the surface, like many discussions. So if anybody's really serious about getting in touch with who they are and what they want to achieve out of their life, food is a big part of it. So please look up Irena. Now, how are people going to find you? What's the best way for people to find you?
Well, the best way to find me is to go to my website, Or what I can do is send you a link to a 15-minute, no strings attached chat.
Great.
We
So
can have a chat.
What's your website and your email address?
It's www.irenageller.com.au.
Okay, so
that's my website.
IRENAGELLER.
That's it. You got it. .com.au.
Great.
And everything's there.
Everything's
You can book a chat through there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for being on the show. And if anybody has
you.
any interesting questions for Irena, feel free to send them directly to her or feed them through me.
Yeah.
If you have anything that you want us to discuss, maybe we can do another podcast episode about some other nuance within this topic. So, the world is your oyster. There's another pun I'm going to throw out there.
Awesome.
But thanks again for Irena for coming on the show. And
my pleasure.
Out there, have a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you very soon for another episode.